am the autopilot.
I am the autopilot. I'm not the autopilot. So it's maintenance day here on svSomeday, and two things we're going to do today. One is change the oil, and the other is to change the fuel filter. Oil we've done before, no big deal, we know how to do that. We'll go through that real quick. We've never changed the fuel filter before, no idea how to do that, or bleed it if it has air in it. That'll be all interesting. So to change the oil, we've got this handy dandy bucket called topsider. It's not the best probably solution in the world, but it works for us for right now. Basically what you do is you pump this pump and it creates a vacuum inside here, and you put this down your tube, which I'll show you in a minute, and then you open the clamp. There's a clamp here that you clamp like that, create vacuum, put this down the hole, flip that, and it sucks the oil out, because on a boat you can't get down under the engine to remove a drain plug or anything, so you have to attack it from the top. And we also have to change the oil filter. It's right there. It's not that hard to do, but of course it is messy. But we have these oil absorbing pads, which we put under there, and then we use a gallon-sized Ziploc bag while we unscrew it so that falls into the bag, so it keeps it relatively clean. Not all boats have this, but this is a tube that hooks to the bottom of the oil pan. We take this little piece off, and this tube goes down to the bottom of the boat, or the bottom of the oil pan. So we basically just take this tube and shove it down this thing until it hits the bottom, and that's now at the very bottom of the engine. So then we come over here, make sure our clamp is clamped down, and we have to pump this thing 40 times, which gets difficult after about 20. Then you just throw this clamp like that, and just like magic, it starts sucking oil through there. Can I see it? Yep, there it goes right there. Right there. There it goes up there, and into the bucket. Yay! We ran the engine for about 10 or 15 minutes to warm it up, because the oil, as it gets hot, gets a little bit, flows better, so that makes it go into the bucket a lot quicker. So this part usually takes about, I don't know, 15 minutes or something for it to get the full gallon out of there. Oh, also, we want to take this oil fill cap off, so that will make it drain better, kind of like you do on your car. And that's it. So now all we got to do is just wait about 10 or 15 minutes. Then this bucket will be full, and then we'll attack that filter. So all the oil is drained out. The next thing we do is take our little oil absorbing mat and we put it right here. So we got our oil absorbing mat down there as best we can. It's just sort of a just in case sort of operation. And then we've got our paper towels, Ziploc bag. We got our new filter. So now, I loosened this earlier. Sometimes it's tricky. It takes a while, but you don't really have to tighten these things very tight anyway. So I start pulling that out a little bit. Put this as best as you can. Best as you can is kind of an ongoing theme with boats, it seems like. So that's going to catch it as good as I can. And then you just screw it off. Now I can see it already running out of there, and it's all going in the bag, so that's fun. And that goes in the bag. Probably put me a paper towel right here. So there's that. This is today's catch. So a little bit messy, but not really that big of a deal. And we just screw the new one on. I just put that on there until it kind of stops, just turning it with my fingers. And then I give it just a little bit of snug, because if you put it on there too tight, you will definitely have a problem getting it off later. And there's not much worse in life than an oil filter that won't come off. So you don't want to end up having to jam a screwdriver through it, or have to do any kind of weird stuff. So that's all on there. It's tight enough. Well, I'll nudge it a little bit. So it's tight enough that it's not going to fall off. And that all looks good. So now all we got to do is put the new oil in and then test it out. So we have our new oil. It is 15W40 heavy duty diesel engine oil. And our handy dandy funnel. That's easy to open. And The only thing left to do is dump it down the hole. What?
You were grunting opening that.
Well, it's hard. Anyway, so then we just dump this in there. Real quick story while I'm doing that. This is the second time I've changed this oil in as many weeks, right? Because I thought it was super cool and did an oil change in record time the last time, a couple weeks ago. And then when I go to clean up, I realized I didn't change the filter. So I get to do it all again. I get to buy another gallon of oil. I get to go through the whole process of using my sucky bucket and so forth. This part takes a little while, so that's pretty much the end of this project. Now we'll move on to the fuel filter. No one will notice. The next thing we're going to do is change our primary fuel filter and the bowl, and the reason we're doing that right now is because we have oil and seemingly oil and water mixture leaking out of there onto our freshwater strainer. We notice when we go to open the freshwater seacock that there's fuel and water, oily stuff on top of this that's coming out of this. And so we're not sure why that's happening, so we got a new bowl and a new filter, just replace it all, just to be on the safe side. So the first thing we're going to do is take these hose clamp pliers and pinch off the fuel supply. The theory is that it just will not allow air to go back into fill the tube with air. I don't know if that's true or not, no idea, never done this before. If we're doing it wrong, I'm sure someone will tell us. But so we're just gonna clamp that off, and I don't know that that's really clamped all that great, but. And then I guess we're going to drain the fuel out of this bowl into this. Can you see all the crap in there? Probably you can't.
It looks kind of like a blue color.
It does?
Because it's black.
I don't know, it's just shit floating in there. So the old filter is off, and we can process that in a little while. We got the old filter off. It's kind of messy. I think we'll have to get a better process for that in the future. So now we got a new bowl, new filter. I'm gonna put the new bowl and new filter, but I'm gonna use this super lube to lube this gasket before we do that. Then we drop that in that little groove. Put this on here. Tighten that down. That's the new element in the new bowl. Then it's going to screw it on there and see what happens after that. Oh, before you put that on, there is another O-ring that goes in the top of this. And again, I read that you should lube that, so I'm going to lube that. Alright, so I'm going to lower this out. Assume the position. And carefully screw that back in there. I'm not going to be able to get this very tight because I can't get my tool around it. Worst case scenario, it just leaks. So the new filter's on. It literally says on the filter to tighten it by hand and then plus 1/3 to 1/2. So it doesn't obviously have to be super tight. The first thing we're going to do is take this hose clamp off of here so that nothing is preventing the fuel from flowing. That's all nice. But we can clearly see the bowl has no fuel in it. And I'm pretty sure, I'm guessing from memory, that this little thing on top of this is a pump. And you unscrew that, and you pull it up, and you start pumping it, and there's not really enough room to pump that very well.
I see something happening.
Right. But it might be coming out the top, which is what we don't want. Okay, so there is definitely fuel. Can you see that down there? And it's filling up the bowl and working its way through. I almost think we should just kind of get the fuel off everything and turn the key so that it starts pumping that. So I sort of bled the system. I don't know that I really needed to. In fact, I didn't really do anything. Or she turned the key on and the pump was clicking. And I opened this little knob and it clicked faster, and I closed the knob and it clicked faster and then slower, but it's making the normal noise. And the engine started right up, no problems at all. So we started the engine up and it ran just fine. So I think we sort of lucked into that just working. Kind of like when we took our engine apart or out and replaced the transmission, and everything just worked right off the bat. I think the boat just knows what to do. Because when I opened the knob, no fuel came out, so I don't know that we really needed to bleed it anyway. And I want to say the XP model, the Universal M25, is self-bleeding anyway. I don't know. So it works, so we're good with that. That's another project closed. We're going to tighten our stuffing box and get out of here. So there you have it. Everybody, thanks for watching our video. We had a pretty spirited sail today. We were going 7 knots or so downwind, which I didn't even know that our boat could do, and then sort of realized that the apparent wind was still over 17, and we were really far away from our home base here. So when we turned around, well, now it's blowing 24 knots, which is too much, and so we needed a reef.
So we furled in the head sail, but
we tried to furl in
the head sail, but it got kind of backwinded, and so it got tangled up. And anyway, we were able to pull it all the way back out and get it reefed.
Yeah.
But we ended up having 2 issues with our head sail.
One of them was that.
Yeah.
The other one was when we were sailing upwind in 20 to 25 knots of wind, the furling line popped out of the cleat, and so the whole sail just comes out all at once, and it's a 150% Genoa, so it's just massive. And we have a tall rig and a bowsprit, so it's just absolutely huge sail. And somewhere between one of those 2 incidents, we blew off our bow light, the red and green light on the front. The metal just twisted like it was nothing. The light is gone. The red and green parts are gone. There's like weird things sticking out of it that I didn't even know were there.
I'm surprised it didn't tear up the head sail. I mean, we need to check and see.
Yeah,
I didn't see anything wrong with it, but I mean, the way those nails.
No, they were screws. It has screws in it, but they just screw in at the end, and they have a big long part that go through the plastic part. All of that's gone except for the screws sticking out. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't tear it up, but I didn't see anything wrong with it.
No, I saw something in all the hysteria when that happened. I saw something go flying. I didn't know what it was. I thought maybe our traveler broke or something. It was profound in that amount of wind. It was one of those days where it started off great, everything's cool, and you turn around and you're like, uh-oh, and then it's just too much wind. For our little bitty boat, that was too much, and we were seeing 25 plus for most of the day after we got all the way down there around that island. So it was it was a scene coming back. So thanks for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, leave a comment, thumbs up, all those weird cool things.
Yeah, this is I guess we're gonna use this one to wrap up this season of sailing, so make sure you hit the bell icon so you'll get notified the next time we post next season.
Yeah, this video will be the bookend for season 3, and then you'll see us back for season 4. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Blah 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 blah.
Bye.
See you later. Peace.